The alarm cut through my sleep before my eyes even opened. Red light filled the cabin. A voice from the ship's system said the enemy fleet had entered the system 4 minutes ago, and they were already closer than they should have been. I grabbed my jacket and ran through the narrow corridor of the station, my boots hitting the metal floor in a fast rhythm. Around me, other crew members were doing the same thing, pulling on gear, shouting numbers at each other, trying to understand how a fleet this large had slipped past our early warning line without anyone noticing. My name is Ethan Wolfe. 6 months ago, I was teaching flight mechanics to new pilots. Now I was the one running toward the command deck, because every experienced officer above me had been sent to the front lines and never came back. The enemy calling itself the Draven Compact had first spoken to Earth almost 2 years ago. Their message was simple: give up control of our systems, our resources, and our future, or be erased. They said this the way someone orders food at a counter, calm and certain, like resistance was not even a real possibility to them. Earth answered with silence for exactly 1 day. Then every shipyard on the planet began working around the clock. I reached the command deck and found Grace Bennett already there, staring at the main screen. She was the flight coordinator for our station, and the only person who looked less panicked than she probably felt. "They are not testing us," she said without turning around. "This is a real strike group, maybe 80 ships." 80, I said. Our sensors said 20 an hour ago. "They were hiding the rest behind a debris field," she said. "Smart, or lucky. Either way, we have maybe 10 minutes before they reach firing range." 10 minutes. I had flown simulations for years, but nothing about a simulation prepares you for the feeling of 10 real minutes turning into a countdown you cannot stop. Our station, called Meridian, was not built for a fight like this. It was a supply post, a place where smaller ships refueled before heading toward the actual front. We had defense turrets, some fighters, and a crew of about 300 people who had never expected to be the first line of anything. Grace turned to me. "You are rated on the Interceptor class. I need every pilot we have in the air in 5 minutes." "There are only 6 of us who can fly those," I said. "Then 6 of us will have to be enough," she said. I ran to the launch bay, where the ground crew was already pulling the covers off the fighters. A woman named Alice Carter was checking fuel lines on the ship next to mine. She had joined the program only 2 months earlier, straight out of training. "Is this really happening?" she asked me, her hands still moving even as she spoke. "It is happening," I said. "Just fly the way they taught you. Trust the ship." She nodded, but I could see her hands were shaking slightly. I did not blame her. Mine were too. We climbed into our fighters. The cockpit closed around me, and for a moment, the noise of the launch bay disappeared, replaced by the quiet hum of my own ship coming to life. Every light on my display turned green, one after another, until the countdown reached 0, and the catapult threw me out into open space. The stars outside were calm and steady, completely indifferent to what was about to happen. Ahead of me, the enemy fleet was a growing cluster of shapes, dark and angular, moving with a kind of precision that made my stomach tighten. Grace's voice came through my comm. "Formation Delta, keep tight. Do not chase anything past the debris line." "Copy," I said, and heard 5 other voices say the same word right after mine. The first exchange happened faster than I expected. Bright flashes lit up the dark in quick bursts as our defense turrets opened fire on the lead enemy ships, trying to slow their approach. My fighter shook as I pushed through the debris field, dodging pieces of broken metal that spun past my window like slow, silent warnings. Alice's voice came through, tight and fast. "I have 2 on me." "Brake left," I said. "I am coming around." I turned my ship hard, the pressure pushing me back into my seat, and caught sight of the 2 enemy fighters chasing her. I fired, and one of them peeled away, damaged but not destroyed. The other kept going. "Alice, pull up," I shouted. She pulled up just in time, her ship clearing the enemy's path by what looked like only a few meters. My heart was pounding so hard I could hear it over the noise in my helmet. For a moment, it felt like we might actually hold them off. Then the second wave of enemy ships appeared from behind the gas giant we orbited, twice the number we had already seen. "That is not 80 ships," Grace said over the comm, her voice suddenly quiet. "That is closer to 200. Nobody answered her. There was nothing useful to say. I looked at my display and saw Meridian Station behind us, small and fragile against the size of what was coming. 300 people were on that station. People who fixed engines, who cooked meals, who wrote letters home every week, hoping this war would end before anyone they loved had to fight in it. "New orders," Grace said. "Fall back to the station. We evacuate everyone we can and pull out before they reach firing range." "There is not enough time," I said. "Then we make time," she answered. We turned our fighters back toward Meridian, flying tight formation to cover the transport ships that were already leaving the docking bay, packed with crew members who had been given only minutes to gather what they could carry. I saw the ships lift off one by one, engines glowing bright against the dark. An enemy fighter broke through our line and moved straight toward one of the transports. I pushed my engine past its normal limit and cut across its path, forcing it to change direction just long enough for the transport to escape into the jump corridor. "Wolf status," Grace said. "Still flying," I said. "Barely." Alice's voice came back on, steady now despite everything. "Last transport is clear. Everyone is off the station." Grace gave the order to pull back completely, and one by one our fighters turned away from Meridian, leaving it empty behind us. I felt something twist inside me as I watched it grow smaller on my screen, a place that had been home to hundreds of people just an hour earlier. We jumped out of the system together, 6 fighters and 4 transports, carrying every person we had managed to save. Behind us, the Draven fleet would take the station, but they would take nothing else. No people, no secrets, no easy victory. Hours later, once we reached the safety of the outer fleet line, I sat alone in the pilot-ready room, still wearing half my flight gear, trying to slow my breathing. Alice walked in and sat across from me without saying anything at first. "We lost the station," she finally said. "We kept everyone alive," I said. "That matters more." She nodded slowly, like she was trying to convince herself of the same thing. "Do you think they will come after us again?" "Yes," I said, "but we will be ready next time. We are learning faster than they expect." Grace walked in a moment later, exhaustion written clearly across her face, but there was something steady in her eyes too. "Command wants a full report," she said. "They also want to know if you two are ready to fly again tomorrow." Alice looked at me, and for the first time since the alarm had gone off, I saw something besides fear in her expression. It looked like determination. "We are ready," she said. I nodded in agreement, even though every part of my body wanted rest. The Draven Compact believed we would fold the moment the cost became real. They believed fear would make us kneel, the same way every other species before us had knelt. They did not understand that fear was not new to us. We had lived with it in different forms for our entire history, and every time, we had found a way to stand back up. Meridian Station was gone, but its people were alive, and alive people rebuild. Alive people plan. Alive people remember exactly what was taken from them, and they carry that memory into every fight that follows. I looked out the small window of the ready room at the stars beyond, quiet and endless, the same stars that had watched over every battle we had fought since this war began. Somewhere out there, the Draven fleet was celebrating a small, empty victory. They had won a station. We were going to win everything else.